What if we don't die? Maybe life isn't just about survival. What if it's about growth? I'm Brough. I'm a psychic medium, and I've been doing professional readings for nearly 18 years. I'm here to demystify the mystical. I was invited by Dr. Fisher to attend the AGO, where I was asked to do readings on paintings whose artists we know nothing about. You know, in this field of work, I'm invited to some pretty unusual situations from time to time. This has to be one of my favorite personal ones. Here's a little sneak peek of our adventure. Well, very interesting. Certainly one of the more unique cases that I've had where I've been asked to come in and read art whose creator we know nothing about. So I was hoping I would get more about the actual artist. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't really know. We won't know until they corroborate all the different messages. What we look for in cases like this is that the different mediums see the same kind of thing and pick up similar parallel information, because when you call it cross correspondence, when you have two different mediums who don't know anything about what the other one said, sees the same thing, and that's a form of validation, especially when you don't have information about the origin. So you're looking to corroborate. So that's what we're hoping to do today. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the other mediums said, so it's hard to tell how well I did. I think it's safe to say by this point in my career, I'm not a raving lunatic. I mean, some might argue with me on that one, but I'm hoping that this was helpful. That's my main goal, is always just to be helpful in whatever form that takes. Well, was it harder than the average reading? I wouldn't say difficult. I would say there are a few factors that make it difficult. Like, it's not my own space, right? So I have to come out of my element. I'm not where I am comfortable necessarily. So there's that element of things getting in the way. But we've seen that I've done television readings on live national television, so it's like I'm pretty good on the spot. The hardest part is not having any feedback, not even that I needed in the moment, but even just after the reading, to have someone say, well, yeah, that's what happened, or that's what I was hoping for. We don't have a human with an agenda behind the art. And so with no agenda to attach to, the reading sort of arcs like little lightning bolts randomly. It's very hard to hone in on a purpose. Even with a missing persons case, where we don't necessarily have another human to validate, at least the intention is clear, that we need to find a body. In this case, the only thing that was sort of the subtext was, who is the artist? And you know, it's hard to say if I pulled out that. I may have told them the artist's name for all I know. I don't know. I've gotten several names, that some of which I think are the subjects of the painting, whereas there was one CL name that kept coming through, which seemed to be possibly linked to the artist, or a theme, a thread through it.
I can't tell if I'm hearing Sissel or Cecile or something like this. I see like a 5-year-old. Seeing her mother in the background, orchestrating this and making sure this all happens. This is like on Mama's orders, on Mumsy. Again, I'm getting the 1800s. See, I go from the 1860s to the 1890s for some strange reason. I really expected this to be the 1900s. That's what's interesting. I don't know, because I'm hearing grandfather now, so I don't know if one of the other portraits is to do with this same family, but granddad. But I'm hearing granddad is important here too. Is that right? important that I know that the birthday is in May for this little one? Because I'm seeing the 5, and I hear May, but then I got 5, so it's the 5th month of the year. Very important. You know. At this age, that's one of the things they'd say when they introduce themselves. My birthday's in May.
Oh yeah, the paintings picked me. How I went about picking the paintings was, I just was drawn almost magnetically to each one. And I think there was a slight feeling that I wanted to make sure that I was getting the paintings that were linked to one another somehow, or that, the way I see it, it could go one of two ways. I picked the paintings that the other psychics haven't picked, like they're filling in the gaps, or I was drawn to the same paintings that the other psychics picked. It'll be one or the other, but not really in between. Yeah.
So, Brough, we've just spent some time doing the readings, and thank you very much. It was very enlightening. I wanted to ask you a few questions. And first of all, when you initially came in the space, what drew you to these portraits that you wanted to read? What attracts you about them?
Well, I don't really know. It's not aesthetic, that's for sure. I'm not going on anything conscious. It's a little magnetic. It's a little like that feeling you get when you think you should turn off on this intersection, or I should put my seatbelt on, there's a cop around the corner. You know, it's that first impression, and it's very subtle, and I've trained myself to listen to it explicitly, and so that's what drew me to those particular 3. In the back of my mind, I suppose I was wondering to myself, are they connected through a similar artist? Because maybe the thought is that all of them are probably the same artist, but I actually think maybe one of them isn't. And I'm sure whoever's in charge of this knows that as a possibility already. And I think I was linked to the paintings that are linked most prominently. The secondary thought in the back of my mind was that other psychics will be drawn more often to the same ones. And I don't know that because you've been very good not to tell me anything as part of the protocol, but that came to me as well. So those are the initial impressions I got.
Is reading a painting different from reading a person, or reading a missing person?
Immensely. Immensely.
They're
yeah.
like we can presume they're deceased. You've done a lot of work with missing people, working with the police.
Actually, yeah, reading a painting or an object is very similar to the police work. It's very, very similar, and it has a similar form in which information comes through disjointed. I think of it like having all the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle dumped on the table, and you don't really know what the image is, and slowly you piece them together. And police work and missing persons work can take months of work, and you know, under the conditions we're in today with just one day and one afternoon, you know, we're only going to get a bit. But the cool thing I think for you is that you're working with several mediums. So one of the predictions that came to me in the session today was that we're each going to be cross-corresponding, not with each other, but the spirit will give us each a piece of the puzzle, that you will get a bigger picture from each of us.
That's really amazing. A little bit more about you. How did you discover your gift of mediumship?
Well, I was very young. I was 4 when my grandfather on my mother's side passed away. He was a 7-foot-tall German man named Hans. And when he had died, I had never met him because my mother's side was divorced. And whenever I'd get sick or have a scary dream, I'd tell my mother the next day that the tall man came in my room and put me to sleep. And he would cup the side of my face, which your whole head would fit in the palm of the hand. And my mother never told anybody, but that's what he used to do to her when she was little, to calm her. So my parents knew before I did. And then when I started writing in my journal in grade 1 about the man in my bedroom at night, everyone told me to shut up. So I had to shut up. And then when I was a teenager, I started to have visions. We called them psychic episodes, where my sister, who was 6 years older, had a friend from high school, and they'd get out of school first. And one day, inexplicably, I'd start running home, and I had this vision that the side door was open. And when I got there, it was. And I ran into my 15-year-old sister's bedroom, which had an ensuite bathroom. And any child knows, don't run into your sister's bathroom. That's dangerous. and I saw her huddled between the wall and the toilet going like this, and I looked in the bathtub, and her friend Ryan was convulsing, having an asthma attack, and she had turned the steam on. So I'd inexplicably been drawn home quickly. And then I also ran to my neighbors right then and got her, who was a flight attendant with a son with asthma, and she brought the nebulizer, and they called the ambulance. We just moved to the country, and it wasn't 911, so I didn't know the number. So instinctively I had done all these things which saved his life. So things like that started happening to a degree where I couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, yeah. And of course now you're working as a medium.
Bona fide weirdo. Yeah, I do readings every day. It's my full-time career.
Okay.
And you know, I've always worked word of mouth. I don't advertise. I don't go looking for it. I figure if I'm doing something right, people will find me.
Do you work in like haunted houses? I think that's how I first saw you, was on television. So
right,
you were in a house and trying to wait for the entities to appear. It was
that's right.
Very, very dramatic and wonderful.
Yeah, this was before all these ghost shows were on TV, and I was asked by some clients to come to Goderich, Ontario, to check out their Victorian mansion, and it was a hair salon in the basement and a house upstairs, and we had a lot of fun. Much Music had asked if they could come along and film that, so we turned it into a ghost show, and it was called Much About Ghosts, and I was a really awkward teenager. Now I'm just an awkward middle-aged man, so at least some things are consistent.
Great. I wanted to ask you about your practice of mediumship. This is my last question.
Sure.
Some people work through flashes or vision. Some people
clairvoyance,
hear, yeah, clairvoyance, clairaudience is when you hear things. Or you might have sentience, like would you feel things. Is it dominantly one or a combination?
In my case, it's a combination, and it's started to become more clairaudient over the years, which was interesting because it wasn't before. And I don't understand what the change is. I suppose that the more readings you do, like anything, any muscle in the body, I think you flex it and you develop. So you could have a child who's naturally adept at music, but they still have to learn and practice and master the craft. And so psychic arts is, I guess, an intrinsic art, but like any great artist, it becomes a craft that you hone over time. Yeah. And I've always put myself to the test. Like, one of the protocols I use in my readings is my clients are not allowed to tell me who they are, why they're coming. They write their questions on paper and keep them concealed in an envelope. And what we're doing with my television show is we're actually interviewing our clients before they come in for a reading. They get the questions on camera, and then you proceed to see the reading happen, and as the reading goes, it answers the questions in the order that they were written. It's quite phenomenal. Exactly, it is a phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, you know, I remember hearing my producer in the kitchen during the first few episodes going, you know, you could hear it in the background because it's surprising to people who are not used to it.
Yeah. And finally, how do you take care of yourself as a medium?
I was asked this exact question last night, actually, on a live stream, and I said, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I try to eat salad. There is this new agey kind of ideology where you've got to surround yourself with white light and have like a Star Trek style shield around you to protect yourself, and there's no warfare in spirit. It's more like frequencies. So at the level of love where I operate, darker stuff can't really attach. It's like you say, punch the air. You can't punch the air. You go through it. So at higher frequencies, you know, you are untouchable. And also, like, if you dabble, this is why Ouija boards are a bad idea, because the combined thoughts of everyone playing the game and the mischievous thoughts and the usually people are drinking and being silly, you're going to attract exactly that. So you have to be with an experienced medium to access the higher realm, the higher levels. Yeah. So that's where I operate.
Well, this is a great conversation. I hope
Thank you.
First of several.
Me too.
Thank you so much for being with us today, and I think that's all for now.
Well, I really like Dr. Fisher's approach here. First of all, her mindset of coming in without any expectations is not only conducive to maximum result. I mean, that's the best way to have a reading, is to let go of expectations. But I kind of like the abstract nature that my being here reading it is art itself. It's me reading it is treated like it's art. And you know, something feels really good about that, because what I do is an intrinsic art. And the fact that I use my abilities for a purpose of reading people, I think you could consider that a craft. So it's like psychic ability is art insofar as comedy is art. They're both crafts that you mold and you use for a purpose. And I think I was given a lot of leeway here, and it was as pressure-free as I could ever hope. I mean, in some sense, there wasn't enough pressure because it didn't quite direct me into anything, because I'm so used to emergencies. You know, I'm a little like a surgeon, and if you sit me in front of someone who just has a cold, I'm not going to cut them open, right? So it's like, that's interesting. It's just a very overall interesting experiment, and I would love to see the results when it's all finished. When I entered the room to do readings on these paintings, I had no idea anything about their history, and I'm not an art aficionado by any stretch. So it was very interesting, the things that I could pull up. My favorite painting might have been the little child showing me the red ball and telling me about the carnival and sharing that vision of their good times. Of course, the spirit that belonged there isn't a child anymore, but I think even doing the readings on these paintings brought the spirits down memory lane. So it was a privilege that I got to share that. Being invited to participate in such a unique project was exciting, to say the least. Of course, you'll see more on this in the new year once the exhibit is released. Today's reading is near and dear to my heart. Leslie lost her mother just a year before I lost my mother young, and both of our moms passed suddenly. The thing about this reading that's kind of neat is her mom seems very prepared and ready right when we start filming.
I was hoping that I could get some contact from my mother. She passed away in 2009, and it was just very sudden, and we're just missing her terribly. So anything that I could get from this would be absolutely amazing.
I'm getting like spirit people with you right away. So you don't come alone, you come with dead people. You're like me, you've lost people young. I lost my mom when I was 25. So I feel that you understand. Don't tell me who, but does that make sense to you, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, because we've got a crowd. We're gonna call them the peanut gallery behind you. A woman steps forward who's very sweet. You remind her a lot of herself when she was younger. Debbie, do you know who Deborah or Debbie is?
I do.
And Mary?
Yep.
Debbie Mary?
Yep.
Is this like a mum to you, or is it a grandma?
It's my mom.
Mum, but she's with your grandmother, correct?
Yeah.
Because I've got two women that are arm in arm. They're like cackling. They're laughing at me. They think I'm funny. They think I'm cute looking, but very few people do. Leave it to the dead to compliment me. Can I get some living compliments, please? Your mom is with you, hon. She really loves you, and she's just put like a cake, like a birthday cake, for a little girl. Does she have a granddaughter whose birthday was recent that you know of?
Yep.
Like back in July, in the beginning of this month?
End of June. So, yeah.
Forgive her. She doesn't have her calendar with her, but it's in the last 3 weeks, correct?
Correct.
Like it's kind of like that. Is there a Michelle or a Melissa or something connection to that child, or in the other part of the family? If you can't think of it, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
It's a big family, they make me feel. And there's also like friends of the family, so I'll leave it with you to sort through.
Absolutely.
But your mom loves you very much. I don't know if she she was sick toward the end of her life, but there's another person that's with her, and I'm getting I have a bit of trouble around breathing. He had like a pulmonary fibrosis or like a hardening of lungs or something like this. He is not that, he's been gone like only 2 or 3 years. It doesn't feel that long ago. Do you know who that could be, that your mom would identify with her?
It could.
Is that like an uncle to you?
Yeah, it wouldn't be 3 years, but it's, yeah.
How long would you say? Short, like within the last couple of years?
Oh, I've lost quite a few people, so now I'm just trying to think of.
Don't worry. There's like I said, we've got a peanut gallery, but we'll leave him. He doesn't seem to step forward. It's mostly your mom taking control, and I don't know if she died more, like if she was the first real loss, or if she was the first or the last largest loss to you, but she's like head of the pack here. We could call her the ringleader if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
She shows 3 kids. Did she have 3 of her own, or do you have 3?
Yeah, I have 2, and then there's 4 of us, but the 3 does make a lot of sense.
Because 3 full blood or 3 girls? How would you say it?
3 girls.
Okay, my girls, it's like, you know, she wants to let you all know that she's with you. She claims to know me. I have no idea who you are. I've never met you, and I don't know her as far as I'm concerned, but she claims to know me. Like she knows who I am, or she's come through in a reading before, or there's a connection between us on some level that I'm unaware of. I have to keep reminding people of this, but I'm actually famous in my field of work, which just means you're popular with, you know, housewives and stuff. But, you know, so maybe I've connected to this family somehow. I'm not sure. Don't tell me if you know.
Okay.
But are you aware of a connection that I'm unaware of?
I am.
Okay. Now I need to just be objective. I don't want to know.
Of course.
But she's like, haha, we know who you are. Like, she's like razzing me, your mom. Debbie? Deb? How do I say her name?
She was a Deb.
Deb.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want to be called Deborah. It's like, don't call me Deborah.
Yeah.
That means I'm in trouble. She's got a man with her, and she just smooches his cheeks. She's got a man that she's kissing. They're placing your name above yourself. Are you named after somebody?
My middle name, yes.
I see a capital C. My ex was Charles, so I'm getting his name overput here. Does that name make any sense to your mom or to you?
A Charles?
Yeah.
It would make sense to the both of us.
Okay. Could that be the man whose cheek she's kissing? Because I'd see him as in the spirit world. Is that fair to say?
Not that I would know of, no.
Okay. It might be a name that's passed down. You might not be thinking farther back, like her history.
Okay.
Because she's with him. But I think this name has been passed down. I think there's a couple of names that are getting recycled. But she's just said, don't focus on him. I'm the star. She's like, I'm the star. I'm supposed to be here today. Was she who you were hoping for primarily?
100%, yes.
Because she's like, don't focus on those idiots. She's really funny, your mom. She's been gone a few years. It doesn't feel as long as she's been gone. But she's taking me back to like 2006 or 7. When did your mummy pass?
2009.
9? Oh, okay.
So close, yeah.
But was she sick toward the end?
Yes.
Because I think that it's a journey like of 3 years for her.
Yeah.
Toward the end. So she's taking me back in terms of memory, and she's like, but it doesn't even feel like it's been 9 years, does it?
Oh, God.
It feels more like 4, if that. But she is always watching over you. She's very proud of you, hon. She's very, very proud.
Just if she sees us, if she sees her grandbabies growing, if she comes around, if she's showing us any signs that we're missing, or just some closure, and does she miss us? Is she proud of us? runs through my head every day. So I'm just wondering, it's not every day you get a chance to do something like this where you can talk to her.
I can't tell if she said, I'm giving your grandma shit or your grandma's giving me shit, but they're having fun up there. She says, no, your grandma's giving me shit because she says, tell her I'm with her too. I want to say little, but powerful. Like big things in small packages, I say. Out with your grandma. An F name like Fred, Frank, or whatever, that name is there important to your grandma, but that's maybe one of her brothers or something to that effect. It seems farther off.
Okay.
Your mom makes me feel like don't expect yourself to know right now, but you'll figure it out. I don't know if she had cancer, but it's because her organs were shutting down, it felt like to me. But did she have two problems, or did it recur twice in some way?
There was a couple issues going on there, yeah.
I see two issues, but I get organs shutting down, like organ failure. And her bones were aching toward the end, structurally. What was the official term they used?
Well, she actually passed away of double pneumonia caused by the H1N1 virus.
Oh my. That's why you know when you have a flu and your bones ache?
Yeah.
And it's like cancer because you're sick and your organs are shutting down with that damned virus. Holy moly. You know, I had another client with that once. It's one of those freak accidents, isn't it?
Yeah.
But your mom tells me that you can't understand this, but her soul, before she was even born, before all of us are born, we planned these things. It seems unbelievable to us here on Earth because it's like we're looking at the masterpiece painting through a straw. We can't see the big picture. We only have limited information, hun. So your mom has all the information and she sees how even her passing was meant to be now. You can let that go because you hold it in your heart like she should still be here. Every birthday, every new thing with your kids, everything that goes forward, it's bittersweet because you think, oh, but mom should be here.
She was our rock, our glue. She held our family together, and it literally tore us all apart. And it's so hard every day. It's been 9 years in November, and every day, I don't know how I'm even functioning without her.
She says, I am here. You just can't hear her because you're looking for her body, but you have to listen with your heart now, hun. It's about listening with the soul. That's how you hear her. And you sense her. You're very psychic. I don't say that to everybody. I don't. You feel her, but it's hard because you're so much like her that sometimes it's like a drop to the ocean. The way that you have that warm kind of loving care inside of you, and you could be feisty too, let's not forget. But the warm love that you feel, where you're like, you actually care about people. It's not just a front you put on, you really do, and you wish you didn't.
100%.
But that's your mom, and she was like that too, and that feeling is what you miss from her. And so sometimes that feeling comes up about you, or you need that feeling, and that's actually her talking to you. And you have to remember that because it's like a drop to the ocean. You don't notice it. It's in the background of your mind. But put it to the forefront. Just focus on it when it comes up. And that's her standing there telling you something. It's usually just giving you You know your mom.
Oh, absolutely.
Good old Deb, You want to go to the pool, kids? Here, she'll spray you with a hose, you know? Like, she's like that. She's very funny. She's showing me someone, I don't know if it's her when she's younger, but she's showing me someone having a perm done, getting wavy curly hair. Not necessarily natural, but it could be she's either making fun of herself or she's throwing one of you guys under the bus. Is there a Janice or a Jane or a Janet in the family history that you're aware of?
Not in the family.
Because it might be someone your mom's mentioning or referencing that she connects to or that she says hello to. So I'll leave that be, because you might have to think of her friends too.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Who are you thinking of, love?
I'm trying to think of her name offhand, but she was one of my mom's very best friends, and
Joan or
it is a Jane name.
Janet.
Yeah, I just can't think of it offhand.
Janice. Yeah, maybe you'll think of it later. Maybe what we could do for the show is get you on a call if you find out validation, and just through speakerphone record you, and we'll overlay it in some edit or something.
Oh, okay.
So that we don't have, it doesn't have to be a big production every time, because
For sure.
there's certain campy parts of the show too. Anything I'm in alone is campy, but anyway, we'll deal with that later.
Oh, her name is Joyce. That's
Joyce.
Yes,
Okay.
I apologize. Yes.
See, that's your psychic, because your mom's, she just plucked it in your mind. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just now. She's like, Joyce, get it right. Bro's too stupid to hear me. You hear me. You could do your reading now for the rest of it. But that friend, I don't know if that friend would have known your mom in the days when your mom would have had a perm, or if Joyce, she's making fun of her hair. I'm not sure. It's these little nuggets in a reading that you go and you contact Joyce and find out she just got a perm. You know what I mean? It's one of those funny kind of things. Your mom's making fun of her.
Well, my mom did have a lovely perm for a while, so that makes sense.
For a few years, yeah. The big square glasses with the, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's funny, but she looks lovely now, you know, and she's got some lighter colors to her hair, like maybe a sun-kissed honey blonde or something. Does that sound like what your mom would have done?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because you're quite dark.
Yeah.
You know, your mom's like a sun-kissed honey blonde, lovely hair color now, and just looking beautiful. You have your eyes from your mother for sure. Your father is good looking though, but you do have your eyes from your mother, she says.
My dad thinks he's great looking, so.
Yeah, mine too. I don't know where I got it from, my whatever you call this. So I'm just waiting, because mom's sort of talking amongst her group of people that she brought with her. Do you have like an aunt over there too? No, it's your mom's aunt, but she would have known you guys somehow when you were young. Strange. Like, you've got layers of family.
Oh, it's
over
yeah,
there.
it's pretty serious.
Someone died in a car crash a long time ago too, or an automotive accident, quite young. They're not going to speak, so I don't anticipate getting a lot from them.
Right.
But it's your mom is just like, I've got the whole clan with me. Because she says, I'm the one who's supposed to talk today. Like, she was elected to show up for you. If someone else showed up and your mom didn't make a big stink, you wouldn't be happy. You wouldn't be happy. So she's like doing her due diligence today.
I appreciate it.
She does want to let your dad know that she checks on him. There's something about your father, but were they separated? I guess through death, but were they separated on Earth as well?
No, they were closer than anything.
Okay, so death feels like a huge separation then, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Because she checks on him. She's like, tell your father I check on him, because this feels like he's lost her, but he hasn't lost her. Doesn't he still wear a ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he keeps me close to his heart, bro. Does he have a pendant or something that was hers, or something he puts around his neck from time to time?
He keeps his ring, or both wedding rings, around his neck.
Because she brings up the ring and she says, he keeps me close to his heart, bro. That's what your mom tells me. Isn't that beautiful? She says sometimes he thinks he should be with me, but he knows he has to be here for his kids. She says, don't you dare leave my kids.
Wow.
So he has to stay, and he knows that.
Yeah.
It sucks for him. Because your parents were like my parents, true loves, eh?
Oh, yeah.
My dad lost my mom too, in his arms, you know? And it's one of these things where true love can happen on Earth. It doesn't mean you get to keep it on Earth, and that's a big realization. Everyone thinks if you're lucky to have true love, you're so lucky you get to keep it. Not necessarily. But you do keep it because you meet again. You meet again in the other life. You know, true loves are rarely first-time encounters. A true love is often because you've known each other in past lives. Your father's not big on all this stuff. But even he would listen. He could watch this episode and he's like, of course I know all that crap. Of course I knew your mother before. That's how he would be.
Yeah, they were soulmates.
Yeah, our soulmates.
Yes.
Our soulmates. And I see a beautiful green, and I know sapphire is supposed to be blue, but there's something like maybe it's a bluey green sapphire. I'm not sure, but there's something your mother's talking about which has to go to one of her girls. Maybe, does your dad still have all of that stuff, or did you already sort through everything of hers?
We were all given her jewelry.
Because there's a sapphire or something like it that needs to be dusted off or brought to the surface so that she wants one of her girls to have. Maybe your father still has something.
I'm sure he
that
does,
he's planning to give, so this is something she's saying. Oh, she checks in on him all the time. She loves him very much. Who's Charles or Charlie? Who is that?
That's actually my dad's middle name.
Is he named after someone in the spirit world?
I would assume so, but I don't know because that probably is before my time.
And who's Edward or Ted? Do you know an Edward in the spirit world? It's okay.
Yeah.
Your mom's with so many people, though. Like I said, we got to get a speaker call after when you sort out all of this stuff.
For sure.
Because your relatives will know who these people are. Your aunts, people will know who they are. I just see your name over and over again. Are you named after someone who... Do you have the same name as somebody?
My middle name, not my first name.
Not your first name, okay. Who are you named after in your middle name?
My grandmother on my father's side and my aunt.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Showing me beautiful flowers. Were you just at her grave? Like within the last month? My mother's on a mantle. Your mom's got a tombstone.
Yes.
And someone put beautiful red flowers that she's thanking them for. Do you have any relatives who might have done that?
The only people that usually visit are immediate family, but we were up on her birthday, Mother's Day, and me and my dad just visited a few weeks ago. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So she's just saying, and since we were just talking about your dad, the last time you went was with your dad.
Yes.
And she's talking about red flowers. Did you guys put any red flowers, or were there already some there?
There were already some there.
Because she said she loved those. She saw those. She puts the letter A above your father. Now, if that's not his initial, then it should be someone that's watching over him in the spirit world who's very special. Do you know who the A name could be to your dad?
Not in the spirit world, no.
I get it an unusual name. Like A-U or... I'm sorry, I can't get the full name, but who are you thinking of that's linked to your dad directly with the A?
My brother's name is Adam.
No, it's not. It's more unusual than that, but I'll leave it with you, okay?
Absolutely.
I feel it might be one of his grandparents that you don't know.
Okay.
You've got to take another trip. It's a little bit of a family trip. Do you have kids, or do you have nieces, nephews you take with you?
I have kids, I have nieces and nephews.
Did you tell me that you have two of your own?
Yes.
Okay. Because you and the kids have to go somewhere where it's got beaches. And I know that you're okay with backyard trips too. You'll take road trips, but your mom's talking about like Spain or Mexico or Cuba, something along those lines. I feel like it's like Mexico. I kind of get a Mexican feeling, and I feel like that's coming up for you in the next year and a half. Have a Bahama Mama for your mother. Did she ever have one of those, or do you know what they are?
I know the drink, but
Your mom wasn't one to drink a ton.
No.
But have one for her. That's what she wants you to do when you go there. Don't worry, it's not a cruise. You would shoot yourself before you went on a cruise. With the kids, no less. No, you're going somewhere like south. Have you talked about it but not made a plan yet?
I always talk about doing stuff, and I just never do.
But this one, your mom will be with you on that trip. She's going to encourage you to do it. She'll find a way to make it happen. Oh, good boy. She's got this dog that she's showing me that she's ruffling his ear behind his ears. He's not a small dog. He's not. I would say medium to large. I don't know. Maybe a lab mix or something. He's a mutt, maybe. Would that be a dog in the spirit world, or would that? Yeah. I don't get his name, but he's just a happy boy, and your mom takes care of him. Was he from your youth?
There could be many, to tell you the truth, that she would.
He's got this lovely. He's got some darker fur, like almost black, and then he's got some auburn brown and some like kind of like what you would see on a certain kind of golden lab dogs, or like the coloring of a German Shepherd, but not a German Shepherd.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yep.
And he's got that. So which one would you say that is? Which dog?
Dakota.
Yeah, that's
which was a lab mix.
That's your boy, eh? That's your. Did he love your mother? I figured, because she's taking care of him. She's got other animals too, but he's the one who's more able to come and be calm enough to come through today. Animals jet around so fast I can't even see them usually. But this Dakota's a good boy. She supports your father in whatever he wants to do with the house. Because is he starting to stage it to get it ready to move?
He's sold the house already.
How long ago was that?
A few years now.
Okay.
But he just recently moved again, so it's...
Okay, because she's supporting him on his decisions around house and changes. And I think maybe she is addressing the one from years ago, because he might still wonder to himself, maybe I shouldn't have done it, maybe it would have been... But no, she was like 100% behind him on that, moving forward. Does he have a pool where he is yet?
A pond.
A pond, yeah? Okay, because there might be a pool in the future where he'll be. I see like a pool, like an in-ground pool with a little slide.
That would be lovely.
Now, he might even tell you he's been thinking about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, but this is the kind of thing you find out after the reading, when you validate with family. She's with him when he sits out in the back on his little terrace where you can hear the birds. She sits with him there in the mornings. She doesn't want him to be alone. But he's a stubborn guy, eh?
Yeah.
It's all about his kids and grandkids now. But she's going to be guiding his hand into the hand of another. Would you tell him that for me, so that he knows that she blesses his union?
Absolutely.
Okay, because he's not supposed to be alone. That's what she says. Did he just finally retire, or is he on the cusp of it, would you say?
He was actually just talking to me like 2 days ago about...
On the cusp.
Yeah.
He's going to do contract-based work or small gigs until he retires for like 6 to 8 years. So he'll semi-retire.
Right.
What did he say to you?
Well, that's what he has basically been doing. He's been driving truck for paving and stuff like that, and he just said he's just getting too old. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's hurting.
But he'll do it on someone's sick day.
That's exactly it, yeah.
And that's what your mom says. She says that's a good idea. So she was there for that conversation. That's why we're bringing it up now. He's on the cusp of retirement. Oh, she just loves him to bits, and she's never far from him. There's another seer. I know I said Charles a few times. There's a different seer, a C kind of name, like Corey or Christopher or something. Is that someone's partner or something? Where do I put that? Is that a brother-in-law to your mom, or a son-in-law?
There's just so much family. I'm just trying to ring through everybody real quick.
Don't worry. Don't worry. You'll remember it. And they put a J above your father. Is that his initial, or is that someone special to him in the spirit world?
J was his, I think he had a grandfather, James.
Okay. Maybe that's part of where his name comes from. I'm not sure, but I'll leave it with him. I'm not always as good at getting names for the living. I tend to get names for the dead much clearer because they're the ones talking.
Right.
But oftentimes when you have a big family like yours, all of this ends up making sense, but it's hard to catch it here on camera in the moment because you have to go back and check.
Right.
No, but your mom's very happy where she is. You know, she's not regretting a darn thing. There's no hidden money either, by the way. She's making jokes with me. She hid her debts is one thing, but no, there's no hidden money, no. She's telling me about someone needing to go to the casino for her and roll some dice and play some, not just blackjack, but play some slots for her, and she's just joking about it. Did
That's
she
hilarious.
like Grandma? Did she go there?
All the time, and we always joke about her not actually being deceased, but she just needs to come home from the casino. She's just been there too long.
Yeah, she's bringing this up. She says, go roll some dice for me, hon. Just go play the slots. I'll be there with you when you're there, you know? Did she have a membership where she'd go to the gold lounge or something? Because I'm seeing all the tacky gold.
She had a gold membership.
Yeah. So she says, yeah, I'll be in the gold lounge. That's what she's telling me. I'm hearing cackling. I'm hearing laughing now. They're all laughing.
I love how you say cackling because that's her laugh.
Yeah.
It was a cackle.
Yeah. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, she loves you. She just blows a kiss to you like that. She's your mom. Always will be. I don't care how old we get. We always need our mom sometimes, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But at least that terrible phase that you had at first for the first couple of months where you'd actually look to your phone to call her and, oh shit, she's not there anymore. That's gone now. You don't do that anymore. But that was a weird trip, eh?
Oh, yeah.
But she's with you, walking your path with you now, and she's watching her beautiful grandchildren come up. I mean, so many girls in this damned family, but did you have a girl and a boy?
I did, yes.
Because she says the two kids, the son and daughter, she says she's watching over both of them. You know, your son has some gifts for math, but I think he needs some special ed or special encouragement to bring it out.
Okay.
He's got a gift for numbers, but he doesn't have an inspired teacher to help him with it. Video games are encouraged for him.
He's a gamer for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be a programmer or a technician one day.
That's what he actually told me he wanted to be, was a video game.
Is he only 8 now?
He actually just turned 10, so he's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your mom's seen him grow up. She's been gone longer than she was in his life, right? But she watches him grow up, and she takes him from like 8 to 10, and she's telling me he's going to become some kind of technician or a computer person. And your baby girl, she's like very creative like you, quite an artist. She's got the art gene from the family pool. She's got the mouth too. She could be a comedian.
Oh, God.
Or a writer, or into politics, because all of them are linked. But seriously, your daughter has a good social theme to her.
She really does.
What does she say she wants to be? Work with animals?
Yeah, she's got animals, teacher. She wants to be an artist. She wants, like, she's got it all. She's... Animals
don't talk back. That's what she likes. She likes a captive audience. Just get a show on Rogers. No one will talk back. So, but she has some potential with communication and writing, and she should be encouraged with her writing, your mom makes me feel.
Wonderful.
And your kids are beautiful, and I see them as healthy. And mom is watching over them.
Most justification that I would want from her is if she feels like I'm doing a good job raising my kids. Sorry. And as you can see, it's still hard to talk about her now without tears, but she was just the most phenomenal mother, and I'm just hoping that I'm living up to her expectations of what she did for us. Oh.
in a little bit of a career crisis yourself, I would say. It doesn't feel like a crisis as much as it just feels like bills are piling up and finances are a stress. Are you in between jobs, or were you in between jobs last year and that was a big issue?
I just got a job last year, so it was, I was...
It was an issue.
Yeah.
And are you more administrative now? Where behind a desk?
I do retail, so it's...
Good. Okay. So, and you are dealing with people often.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That's good. That's good. But I see you getting up to office work and desk work. Okay. You're not going to stay on the floor in retail for too much longer. Maybe 2 years, and you could get a job in head office or go higher up. Okay.
Wonderful.
That's what they're telling me to tell you. And keep an eye out for Lisa or Linda. That's a good colleague or a good person through work to have as an interviewer or an ally.
Perfect.
Okay, that's like 2 years off, but your mom and a spirit guide who wants to give you a bit of life advice is helping with that, because your finances are going to get much better than they've been.
That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those kids don't want for anything. You get your kids all the things they want and need. You're a good mom. You're a very good mom. Ooh, spicy relationship with their father, though. It's been hot and cold with that one.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But you've always kept the kids out of the drama. That's been your modus operandi, hasn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Your mom's very proud of you. She's like, good going, kid. Like, she's like, you're doing the right thing.
It was so nice. It's so refreshing. Like, it's just like a liberating feeling, knowing that, like, I know she's not talking to me, but it felt like she was talking to me, so it was really nice. Like, it was bang on with her name. Like, I was like, gee, I thought like he had a cue card behind him, like, Debbie, you know, like, it was so, like, and then I was mostly concerned when he said she's allowing your father to move on with somebody, and that just, like, now I can let her know that Mom approves, like, it's okay. And that was a big thing for me too. Like I said, I know she's there, but that gives me validation that she is there, you know? It's incredible.
One of the things about being in the club of losing your mother young is that every great stride one makes in their life is met with a bittersweetness. Having your first child, getting married, doing all the things that we usually imagine our mothers being next to us for. One of the things my client Leslie wanted the most was to know her mother still watches over. And one of my favorite things about the reading was how her mother brought up her children and gave me details about the family to validate that she's proud and watching over. And now you got to tell me, how the hell do we know each other? Your mother's telling me that we're in connection.
Well, actually, my cousin, Lori Boardman, she actually came to speak with you when...
Lori, right.
When our cousin was missing, and she spoke with you a time before that, but she actually, when I told her that I was coming to see you, he's wonderful, he helped with Cole, we did, you know, like, and she just raved about you, so she...
How's Cole doing that?
He's doing much better. Yeah, he's... Good. But as soon as she said that she had spoke with you, I was like, oh, okay, because I was so nervous. Wow, fantastic.
No, I mean, it's because your mom was telling me that you guys know me, or she knows who I am. Maybe she even helped with Cole.
Well, we're such a tight, close-knit family that my mom would have known whatever's going on with them anyway, so.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll give you a quick hug.
Thank you so much.